Leadership is willing to go somewhere where the others don't feel safe going. You two, the first ones who go, usually look stupid.
And I want to be the best leader I can in this team.
A lot of meetings, at least the ones that I've been witnessing over the last 20 years, are incredibly boring.
I will lead a team in AI research, which is my profession the last 30 years.
Now where we're going is towards a place where you're going to deliver incredible results, facilitate strong human connection and trust for the team.
I'm pretty confident about my technical abilities, but this is more than just that. It's also going to be developing people, helping them to deal with the pressures.
That is one part of leadership as well. So welcome, Balazs, to a consultation session together. Could you let me know what you work with and what you would like to discuss today?
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for this opportunity. It's quite an interesting setting because it's going to be a coaching session and it's usually not recorded. So I will be talking about this topic, but let me just introduce so why I'm here. So I'm in this first season of Seol and I'm at a crossroad between two jobs, and I basically signed up for this because I will lead a team in Meta, in AI research, which is my profession the last 30 years. And I want to be the best leader I can in this team. I'm pretty confident about my technical abilities, but this is more than just that. It's also going to be developing people, helping them to deal with the pressures, and like welding the container for the team so we can deliver even under pressure. So a lot of issues that are coming up, I don't feel like completely equipped to deal with. And it's also an experiment, right? Because my whole life is an experiment. Sometimes I think about that, like I can talk about that too, like this way of going towards my fears, and because I'm interested or I'm curious about the unknown and how those two things fight each other, the fear and the curiosity. And so this is now Curiosity 1. I am really happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. So what I heard is that you're starting a new job at Meta as AI researcher, and you have been a researcher for the last 30 years, and you're going to be leading a team, and you want to be the best leader you can be for the team, especially in helping them also grow, thrive, transform, and give them whatever support you can. So you're very confident in your knowledge as researcher, and you would like to improve as a leader in your leadership skills. And that's why you're also here with us at Seol.
Yes.
Beautiful. And you also mentioned that there's a part in you where you're operating with curiosity, and it's like an experiment. And there's also a part where there's fear involved. So where can you bridge the part where you are going into fear and curiosity?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So where is the place right now that you feel the least equipped with, where you would like to dive into and work together in this hour together?
So when you asked me to do this session, what I was thinking about is I would bring in the strangeness of the setup.
Please tell us more.
Which is about, because we are recording a coaching session, and coaching session is usually very private. Everything stays between the two of us. Yet I agreed that this would go out on YouTube and everybody will see this. And so this means that I have to be, or I feel I have to be concerned where I put the cursor between being vulnerable and going really deeply into my internal world and putting it out there and showing it, right? And this is actually a topic that is not necessarily related to my new job, but in general, social media, last 20 years, I was there when it was born. Actually, probably one of the first people who I had like a handheld phone and stuff like this. And then all this world that's changed in the last 20 years of how much do I show myself to the world? And it's not only, so it's a deep, deep question, like, because
it's a huge topic right now,
which
is what is available and what is not available. Or what should we show and portray and what shouldn't we show and portray in a world where anything can be available and shown at this time?
Yes.
Very, very important piece. So we're going to go sure that in this session, you're going to feel as comfortable as possible And if there should be anything coming up where you don't feel comfortable with that, we're obviously not going to send it out. So you don't have to worry about that. We go where we go right now. Yeah. So I hope we can feel
Yeah.
and share that as well.
I agree, but I thought we could actually explore this topic.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I did?
Absolutely. So how about we explore it by a direct exploration? So instead of making it a philosophical discussion, we go into real life experiences from where you're in right now. So we're very action driven and result driven. So we want to, anything that we are working with mentally, we also want to be able to set it into direct context and action in the world.
Yes. So I have a podcast, and that was a very long process because a lot of fear there to actually, I didn't dare to look at myself talking. It was so weird in the beginning.
Yeah.
And the question of why I'm doing it, right? It's such and I don't have the answer, so we can explore this. Why am I doing this actually? There is certainly one side is that I want to talk to people I really admire, like as thinkers or just as people, and connect to them. But that wouldn't have to be recorded, right? So why do I do the recording? And there is definitely some part of me that wants to be validated for who I am, and that's a way to get that validation from the audience, from people, and that's a deep need that I have, and I often don't admit it, that I do things because I want to be seen, I want to be validated, I want to be heard, and because I want to connect, right? As a researcher, this was one of the toughest parts, is that I was often not working for the people around me. So the validation of our work or my work comes not from the people around, but from people who are very, very far, who reads a paper that I wrote or cites it. There's like this micro validations, and that's not very human, I found. It's alienating because it's very, very far. But somehow I went into that because somehow maybe I wasn't ready for being connected to the people around me in a deep sense. And now I'm in this domain where this is like the way we function. In a company, it's a little bit closer because there is a company, the company has a goal, and most of what we do is connected to that goal. But at the end, as the research part is still, this validation comes from very far. And maybe because I was afraid of getting validated by people who are close to me.
So what I hear you say is you're exploring your why for the podcast, but also your work per se, and why you also want to be a great leader. And in that process, you are exploring the layer of validation. So wanting validation from other people, because you could just have the conversations without it being recorded and displayed. So I hear that one layer, the validation. And the validation there is here you're really going in and revealing that there is that part. And I think that's very healthy. I mean, ultimately, we all would like to be admired for what we do and be validated. And then at the same time, we're also putting ourselves out there. So there might be a danger of not being validated.
Risk.
And then exactly. So there's a risk of being judged. And we already know as soon as we put things out there, there are trolls and other people and people who just don't agree or see the things that we do. And so in the past, you had a more distant loop of affirmation coming through. And there it might have been that you weren't ready for whatever feedback would be coming your way. And now you're looking at a closer feedback loop where you're also yearning for that connection and also plus delta feedback. So feedback that might also not be validating because it might make you grow. That's what I hear in this area. Is there anything else you would like to add or change in my reflection so far?
The reflection was perfect. What I would add is that, interestingly, this move that was very hard for me to start it. I needed a container actually that gave me the steps to do it, and it helped a lot. But it also led to unexpected things in my life. For example, it's a long story, but the reason why I'm in Seol, why I know you, is because a guest on my podcast who talked about men's work, I got it to men's work, and then I got it to an event where you were presenting Seol, and that's how we meet. And that was completely unplanned. Unlike a lot of things that I'm planning in my life, like research and what I do and what do I do with my time. This is also a domain where I can just go with the flow. And actually I contact people to talk to me, and the ones that respond to me are the ones I will talk to. So there is a lot of this uncertainty that I'm actually enjoying to have. Like, I don't know who is going to be my next guest because I don't know who is going to answer me and where it leads to. But so far, so good. I'm really happy with the outcome in terms of, not necessarily becoming Lex Friedman, but in how my life changed because of this move.
So through the opportunities that arose, there's almost like a layer of synchronicity. So whoever, like the moments that you choose something leads to another moment, unforeseen events that lead you to new exploration. And that sounds like already good, deep research, right? So you seem to be enjoying that a lot. I can see that also in you there.
Yeah.
If we go back to the why, so one layer is validation. Yeah, because it's very important. I think everyone should just know why they're doing things, and there's usually more layers. So one is then validation, but what else are you looking for transmitting through now your podcast, but also let's tie it directly into your work, because your podcast is tied to your work as well. So what is another piece that why are you doing it? And I want to tie that ultimately to why do you want to become a great leader?
It's hard to connect the two.
I can start with the podcast, and then I'll guide you deeper into the other layer.
So I can ask myself why I didn't feel heard, why I needed this channel actually, why the channels that were available to me, like writing technical papers at a certain moment, was not enough. And so what happened, it was like the years between, say 2019 and 23, when I started the podcast, I consumed a lot of. That's where sort of like this podcasting world exploded because of COVID too. The people were home, and then a lot of long format YouTube videos. So actually even research, I felt that it's much easier to connect to even like complex abstract research topics when somebody's talking about it, not writing about it. And I consumed it. It's sort of like I get a lot of thoughts and emotions, like this guy Stella is so stupid, why, like this kind of anger, frustration, and no channel to evacuate that frustration, or yeah, I had this idea, why, like all kind of like jealousy, all kind of like emotions that are even hard to admit for myself. And my partner was watching this, and I was just, venting to her, and she said, okay, do something about this. You have to actually start producing, not only consuming, because, it just gets inside and in that what wants to go somewhere. So that was like perhaps the direct reason why I really, really went through the enormous fear to do this. And the interesting thing that happened there is that the frustration is much smaller, even when I'm listening to someone, because I know, like, actually I know it from inside how this works, and it's okay. Other people have other opinions, and now I can say mine, and I have a little audience. It's not huge, but it's enough for me to feel that, these dogmas can live together. And it also, yeah, I'll just stop here, because there are a lot, if I start talking about, you have to stop me, because so my mind works in this way. It goes everywhere.
No, it's great. What I hear you actually say is you were consuming the different podcasts and these different opinions about research, AI, and everything, and you had a lot of emotions come up. Some of them frustration or agreement, but there was no place for your own self-expression and your wisdom to be shared. So that's where you then came in, and it's a tool for you to express your opinions on the matter as well. So there's not just whatever you experience as it not being there, not being represented. So that's another great reason. Self-expression is a big one for your why of why this is, you're bringing this out. So we have validation, we have self-expression. And did you also have reasons for other people? Because probably it was not only about you expressing, but also for other people to receive different pieces, I assume.
That's interesting thought, because probably, but it not consciously. It's I did not do this for the audience.
Wonderful. Yeah, we can totally keep that on that place there.
And I mean, still not. So I know that I could do things much better for growing it, but I just don't care about it.
Yeah. So it's mainly for you to express and receive validation. Anything else that you would see that this model is there for?
There is the exploration part.
exploration?
So I feel that my ideal style of conversing with people is not the debate, it's not the confrontation, it's not the arguments. I think arguments are stupid. It's more about understanding. Even if I don't agree, I rarely voice that disagreement, or I say it in a question. I sometimes I say what I think, and then we agree not to agree. But most of the time, I just want to understand where the guest is coming from and how did he get to that, and not only the thought, but also the process to get there and the reasons to actually do. So that's something that's amazingly unexplored. Why somebody's doing research in the domain is doing it or she's doing it, right? And I ask this question, and most of the time the guests have a hard time to answer that. But I'm very much interested in this because we could do so many things. How come you're doing developmental biology and the other person is AI?
Yeah. Like, what's the calling there? So I hear that there's exploration process as we had before, and in that you're there to understand and the idea, the process, and the why of the person. Like, why are they doing these pieces?
Yes.
Great. So that's like your field of self-expression. And I mean, you're also going into Meta now, which is obviously social media and platform of expression for millions of people. And now we're looking at a process here where I'm going to tie it back to your leadership. So because your podcast was something for you, might also be in your leadership. But here I actually, when we talked before about this, I heard more of a wish to be of service to the people. Obviously, there's also layers of validation and self-expression in it. But there's a different layer for you there that I have heard in between each time you spoke about it. It was about the other people, and that you can be that for them. So when we look into leadership for you in your new position, what are you looking at your why? Like, what is the reasoning behind that, since we're now exploring exactly the same thing?
So obviously there's the strict goal of delivering on the research that I sign up for. So this is, it's a big company, so I'm not doing what I want to do, but I decided to go there because the research topic is very interesting and I'm really happy to explore it. And then there are the mechanics of this. We build a team. There's a team which is already there. It's a very young team. Most of us came in this year, and what I'm interested in is not only delivering the technical results, but also building I wouldn't say tribe necessarily, but something like that, like where there are strong human connections and trust. And beyond, so it's something that's good to work in an environment where this trust and this sort of human side is well developed. But even if I just think about the research, I found that when I do research, it's the most important part is being able to manage to be in the uncertainty long enough to find something there that's new, that's unknown, or the solution for a problem. Often the biggest issue is that since uncertainty comes with fear, it's almost the same thing. We tend to collapse on a premature direction. And even I do it when I'm alone, when I control everything and I'm not in actual danger, as I'm sitting somewhere with a paper or a screen. I know nobody will attack me and eat me. The fear is still there because the uncertainty of the thought or the domain I'm exploring generates it. Now, when we are a team, it can be amazing because you have like 5 different people with 5 different knowledge base in their brain, and we can put everything together that can lead to somewhere where none of us could go alone. But that requires that we as a team, we stay in uncertainty long enough. And that's like exponentially harder than a single me managing my fear because of the social aspects, the shame, the fear, the competition. So it's not only collaboration, of course. And so one, very pragmatic reason to build a strong team where trust is number one is because of this container where we can all seem stupid. So that's like the best way to put it, perhaps. Like when we explore, we say stupid things. If we don't say stupid things, we don't explore, right? But then you have to be able to dare to say stupid thing in front of, let's say, your boss, your coworker, the person who will actually evaluate you at the end of the year. And that's really challenging. So this, so even if it's not just for that it's, I want to have a place where it feels good to work. Just if I think about the deliverable, I think it's an important stepping stone to build that security in the team and freedom or space to be free.
Beautiful. What I have so far is you are there to obviously deliver the technical results, but beyond that, you want to facilitate strong human connections and trust for the young, fresh team. So you want to create a culture, and that culture entails the ability to stay in uncertainty long enough to find the new or unexpected or unexplored. And for that, we need courage. So you want to have a culture where we can feel the fear, but we still move forward because there's trust and because there's a willingness to look stupid for the reason to explore. And in other words, that would mean an allowance to make mistakes, like a culture where it's like, where obviously everyone wants to look good. You're not the only one who wants validation. And every human wants to look great. That's also one of the biggest hindrances of new exploration. It's also like that's where leadership comes in. Leadership is the willing to go somewhere where the others don't feel safe going. You two, the first ones who go, usually look stupid. It's just how it works, right? Like first time karate, first time whatever, usually we don't look like we're masters at it.
Yes.
So the majority of people stay where they look good, and that's the known. Because they know. So that's what I hear you right now expressing clearly. And I mean, in research, it is exploring the unknown. So I hear that you want to really create that space of courage, trust, and the environment that supports both the performance as well as the learning. Because the performance is, oh, I look good at it. But before we can look good at it, we need to learn, we need to practice, and we need to explore. And that usually doesn't look very good. So you want to create that space where that is allowed so you can perform then. Is that the reflection so far? Anything you would like to add or change in that?
Yeah, you can actually go with this one.
Good, because I'm taking what you're saying and I'm kind of putting it together in a way that right now this is going to be like our roadmap.
Yeah, and it actually feels very good, like that's validation, sort of like at least you understand what I'm saying, and that means that I expressed myself in a way that it's possible, and that's, it hasn't been always in my life like that.
I understand you very well, and my job is also to understand.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm also reflecting back and checking, and I'm putting some your words and then some other words into it to just see, and then I check with you if it's correct. So you can always stir me along the road that you know that I'm understanding, and you can correct or add to any point, because that's how we build trust, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly the process. Is there anything else that you would like to highlight in your why around the leadership right now and the new role that you're going to be stepping into in Meta and AI research with your young and fresh team?
There are probably like 100 other aspects, but I think we can go with this because...
Perfect. It's usually pretty good to only have a few,
exactly
3 to 5 main ones, and then, the rest kind of falls into place, and then you can remodel them. But the why is always it is like our North Star. Once we have those clear, it's like, oh, these 3 values, these 3 virtues, these 3 or 5 processes is what I want to install. And then we can see if that is all that we needed, or we learn through the process. So that is ideal to not overload in that process. So before I always bring any pieces in from my side, I love gathering data, as much data as possible. Sound familiar, right? So the more data I get, the more I get a picture. And as soon as I have the picture, then I can help and start bringing in processes. Because where are we at right now and where are we going on the map is our process then. And right now where we're going is towards a place where you're going to deliver incredible results, facilitate strong human connection and trust for the team, and the ability for uncertainty to be explored long enough to find the new and unexplored. And then all that have a culture of courage, trust, and willingness to learn and express and make mistakes. So that's already like our direction that we're heading. Yeah?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So where are you right now at in that process? And with that, where we're going to go towards, that's where we're heading towards. What are the pieces that you see that you're going to be doing, or what are the pieces that you need? So we're always looking at what needs to be installed and what is already there and what can be improved.
I'm very early
Mhm.
in this process. Personally, so I also had a team in my old job. So that part is not so new, but this new team, new job I'm very early. We had like maybe a handful of meetings. So also planning period. So I was thrown right into the deep water because we are planning next year. And so it's not necessarily, how to say this, the space for exploring novelty, but not novelty in a technical sense, novelty in the how we, for example, run a meeting or connect. Right now, the connection is through this object we are managing, which is the next year's plan. Everybody's talking about that, and everybody's basically brings information about that, brings also the desires, what everybody wants to do, but there's relatively little, let's say, modern container. What I want to say by that is that, like, there's this classical meeting. It's IT. It's not necessarily the place where we do this kind of relating a lot. So I have quite a bit of fear of how can I bring in what I learn here in Seol into this setting, and how careful should I be? How will it be received? How will I be seen if I do this? You mentioned being silly because we are the first who go there. So this is exactly what I'm dealing with personally. And while I'm very comfortable being in uncertainty on the research side, when we're talking about these third things, the object of research, I'm not that comfortable in bringing in uncertainty in terms of like how to run a meeting. Or I mentioned breathwork to my boss, and we laughed. But it was not it was a good it was just very, very, unexpected. So this is what I'm struggling with. Like, what is the process of slowly bringing in tools which would then help us to be really good at what we're doing because of managing the uncertainty.
Beautiful. So I hear right now like two different fields. So one is the process that you're in right now. So there's an early process phase right now that we're in, which is planning phase. And the connection point between you and the team is literally the excitement and desires of the new next year's plan. And so that is what is alive. And then I just added another process, which is part of the process. I just want to define it as the worries. Yeah. So we need to be clear of like, what are we worried about? So there's a worry about how you will be seen and received for bringing in other ways of connecting or facilitating than usual in an IT environment. Yeah, like we can imagine like a certain type of person being there, maybe emotionally also distant, like stereotypes, right? But then we're also just going that we're all different humans. We're all still human.
Yeah.
And so you're bringing in, for example, how to run a meeting, because there's so many ways how to run a meeting.
Yeah.
A lot of meetings, at least the ones that I've been witnessing over the last like 20 years, are incredibly boring. They're incredibly like dry, and also they reject the human aspect. They might just be too long or not set properly, or it's just a bunch of people sitting together and they're not really moving forward. So there's actually very effective ways of facilitating a meeting and very ineffective. And many of the people who are facilitating meetings, they have never practiced facilitation. They don't know how to actually do it. And then we all just think that's how it's done because other people did it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then when one knows other ways of facilitating that is captivating, that is engaging, then one is a little scared at times. Or I know for me, it was the same in my first company that I was having control over. Like, what is going to happen if I bring in 5-6 minutes of breathing? Because people might be too anxious or stressed or coming from all kinds of places. And we know that breathwork is one of the most powerful ways of bringing calmness and peace into the nervous system of any human being. And so many people have no idea about it. Like,
Amazing, actually.
yeah, right. And so you're bringing, for example, breathwork in, then you got a response of laughter, and but it wasn't negative laughter.
No,
or
like a surprise laughter.
Surprise, like, oh,
Like
okay.
I had to repeat it 3 times.
Yeah. He was like, what? Yeah. And so what was it more like willing to explore, or?
I think yes. So it's probably will go much easier than I'm afraid of. But still, the fear is there. So it's I have to deal with the emotion.
Of course, yeah. We're gonna go into the fear around that as well. So like breath work, again, just bringing in there. One of my companies before was a breathwork company at school, and we went to companies and literally created an environment for them to perform better and stress relief, because chronic stress is actually just the inability to relax when we want to. And the majority of humans I know, they don't know how. They all found the gas pedal, right? Drinking coffee, like anything that's stimulating. Everyone's like, oh, gas, gas, gas. And then they come home and they cannot relax and they cannot turn off. And then that drives on and on and on. And that is dangerous, obviously, for the nervous system and for performance.
Yeah.
And as you know that.
The long term, yeah.
And then
illnesses,
That's it. And so now the brake pedal is slow, deep breathing. And you know that. Yeah. So here comes the piece in where I think leadership really begins. Like, how do I take someone from maybe resistant and unwilling to try the new, which is problematic in an environment where research is supposed to happen, to being willing to explore a tool and even use it. Because one is getting them to do it, then another is how do I get them to embrace it? And that is one part of leadership as well, taking someone from A to B and then facilitating that journey also. So how do I make it easy for them to do what might have been hard for me?
Even the breathwork was really easy for me because the effect is so visible and so fast that like I had the same reaction, like why doesn't everybody know it?
Why don't they teach that in school?
And it's like it's always there. It's not like you have to go to retreat and
no, it's right there. It's accessible for everyone as long as they're alive, and you want to bring that. So there's still this worry and that fear. How will you be received ultimately? And this here ties right to one of your first points here, which is from the culture you want to install or bring or enhance, because it's already there. People are already courageous. Just how courageous? And people are already trusting, but how much do they trust? And people are already willing to explore and learn, but how much? And so how can you embody courage then in this process and model it for them?
I think one of the tools that I learned from you, but from others too, is that I can actually talk about it, the fear.
Yes.
It's so easy to, I just, forget it.
So we call it reveal what is happening.
Yeah.
So expressing or revealing what is happening inside. And what happens in you when you like reveal it, like you're revealing right now? How does it feel for you to reveal?
Here I know it's a safe container, even though it's recorded. So this is what makes it a little bit tricky. I actually feel, and talk about that, but actually feel not completely relaxed, not as when we do it one-on-one.
Absolutely, I understand that too.
But to answer your question, revealing it in this setup, it's easy because this is where I trust you, and I know that we are here for this. So the revealing it like in a meeting setup where I'm actually the new guy, that's like tough,
Yeah, I mean you're revealing it right now. You just did it again too.
Yeah.
But you just revealed that it is a little bit more difficult for you right now, and that you feel a little more, a little less relaxed than in the usual closed container setting where nothing is being, might be displayed later on.
Yeah.
So you just practice it right.
Yeah, and if you see it in the camera, I'm actually getting hold of my breathing quite a bit because to calm this sort of, I have this little shaking in my upper body, and what it causes me to do is to breathe very shallow, and that actually makes it worse. So when I notice it, I just take a couple of deep breaths, which usually when you talk, but even when I talk, I can do something like that.
Beautiful. So we're right now already like you're regulating.
Yeah.
So there's a buzzing sensation inside of you. In scientific terms, it's called arousal.
Yes.
In the past, it would be called stress.
Yes.
But stress has like this negative connotation nowadays. It's just arousal. So arousal is like, oh.
Yeah, I'm ready to fight.
Exactly. And then we go into fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode. And then there's also the other, which is then like, it's like a seesaw. And you know how to use your breath already. And that's what you would like to pass on to your team. And the way that you're regulating right now is by, first of all, revealing. You name something, which already diminishes the effect it can have. We're capturing effect on the nervous system. And then you start breathing in the moment and you notice, very important, you're using the tool of self-awareness. You're aware that something is rising or falling. And then you're like, oh, I don't like too much arousal right now.
Yes.
I'm going to actually use my breath, the brake pedal, to calm the nervous system. And you're bringing it down right now. So I just want to highlight what you're doing. So we're going meta right now by looking at what is happening. And I just want to reaffirm that you're using these processes and that I'm sure you would like your team to have these processes.
And feel free and not afraid of revealing what is going on in themselves. Because when it happens on the other side, when somebody does this, and that's so powerful for me, I have tears in my eyes, that it's not at all repulsing. It's the contrary. It's like I get super important information from how does it land what I'm telling or the situation. And this is why you're behaving like that, because you're afraid or you have I don't know, stomach ache or something, not because all my 99% projections about how you are and all my assumptions, and so the fact that we practice it here and I see, even this assumption exercise we can talk about, which is the hardest for me, it's like then I see it from the other side, it's not such a big deal, I know the guy is projecting, so it's why not? It reveals more about him than about me, so I can deal with this. So why not say it then from the other side? Because then it clarifies so many things that, as you said, like gets bottled up, and then the whole culture goes into like sort of like a freeze.
And just for anyone listening, we're referring right now to specific games, practices that we do in authentic relating, but also facilitation and leadership, where we practice, for example, to assume nothing. And we have a game where we literally, when new people meet each other, the first thing that they do is just tell everything that they assume about a person. And it's quite funny what comes out of it, right? And then we can really see how many of our thoughts are really just assumptions, but we sometimes confuse our assumptions for reality. And to know that difference. And what I hear is why the tool of revealing what is happening in you, but also in anyone in your team is important, is because it gives you the information that you need to navigate the space. So if someone is, for example, not performing and they're going through right now some traumatic experience with a family member, there's then understanding, and then we understand to put less pressure or create more space.
Yeah.
And to give whatever is required.
Reorganize the team, like it's solvable, and deal with my own anger, which could be there if I didn't know.
Exactly. So I just added to the leadership, your why list, I also put in authenticity and tools for now, because it seems like you really would like them to be equipped. And you would also like them to be authentic. And we know that authenticity is one of the strongest connectors between humans. And the connection is literally what builds trust. And teams who trust each other work the best, and they perform the best.
Yes, that is a direct road from authenticity to the culture. Yeah.
So here we're building right now a roadmap where there's going to be tools involved. There's then your own worries. So there's going to be you as a man, as a leader, as a human being, who's going to be responsible for the team. And I know from another session, there's going to be 2 people responsible, right? You and...
Yes, it's even a sort of triangle.
Yeah. So there's going to be 3. So there's going to be like you 3 and the leadership team, like the main leaders. And then there's going to be a team of how many people right now we're talking about?
8, but growing.
Okay. So in the beginning, 8 and then growing. So you 3 are going to have your own unique leadership style. You want to play into each other's strength, those layers. So there's going to be one piece where you have to set the context with the other 2 leaders. What are those pieces that you're going to be taking like responsibility for? Like task ownership, beyond what your job is too. Like, because unless one of you has the job, you're going to be facilitating, but you're all going to be facilitating at times, right?
Yeah, or yeah, and I mean it's an open question. What seems natural? For example, if I do 5-minute breathwork in the beginning, even if I don't own the meeting, I can do that, and then I pass the leadership of the meeting to somebody else who is dealing with the actual topic of the meeting.
And go like a good team.
Yeah.
Like an opener, getting everyone calm, relaxed, centered, a good space. And then whoever's going to take it forward can take that team from maybe a scattered or tense place. That would be the effect if it wouldn't be there eventually, because that's what happens when people come from different places all together.
Yeah, exactly. Even just the check-in that I actually already tried and it went through with no resistance.
Amazing.
And just to know where people come, like even 30 seconds is amazing.
So just you already played with a check-in. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, there's a check-in process where literally everyone just says how they right now are feeling.
Yeah, or even thinking, because it was very nice when you did it. You can talk about body, emotions, or mental. Yeah. And even if he just tells which, thinking process he came in from, that helps a lot. Because for people, for me, it was very hard in the beginning to talk about my bodily feeling, because I was just asking, like, what are you? Somebody asked me, how do I feel? Like, what? Like it was really good, really hard. I know I'm good. So the usual, we go slowly, but even the mental processes check-in helps a lot.
Beautiful. So the check-in then could be any physical sensation, emotions which are also expressed in sensations in the body, or mental processes, thinking patterns, or any other thing. So you're already creating a space there where someone can express, reveal, and already that creates safety and trust in the group. Because like, Lara is having a headache today and she is not feeling so well. And then, here someone is celebrating, and then it sparks celebration. And like at once we all have something to talk about. We all can relate to each other and we feel more connected.
Yes.
So you're already building those in. And this is really good. So just want to highlight the worry that you had before, because we need to work with that, right? Because that's your thing you need to work on personally. And then with your support team, that's me and the whole of Seol. And there I'm highlighting it for you because I want to show that already, like the check-in, no resistance, good results. So maybe our worries are just that, worries, unconfirmed worries.
Yes.
And so that can maybe like strengthen then the approach of courage.
Yes.
That we're bringing in. Yes. Wonderful. Very good. So we have a check-in. We're going to go into the tools, which is then going to be short breathing practices to help calm. And so this here is like facilitating. You're setting a stage, a specific type of way how your leadership is going to be, which is bringing people into their axis of full intelligence. Is that what I hear?
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you express that in your own words?
Bringing people in to access their full intelligence.
Yeah.
It's not even about intelligence. I think it's about creativity. Like everybody's intelligent in the team, like beyond imagination. But creativity and intelligence are not completely correlated, and we need creativity, and for creativity we need the space, the safety.
That's perfect. Those are exactly why I asked you in your words.
Yeah.
Because in mine, that's exactly what I mean.
Okay.
Right? Remember the map that we have?
Mm-hmm.
IQ and EQ is creativity.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So mental intelligence and emotional intelligence combined allows for creativity.
Okay.
Physical intelligence and mental intelligence allows for systematic thinking. Right. And we have these angles where we put it in. So this is perfect. So for you, it's really about creativity. So the allowance of creativity into the space. Yeah, wonderful. So then we have process, creating space for creativity. Great. So we have a process. We know what exactly your thing is that you're going to be working on, which is going sure that you keep your worries in check.
Yeah.
About what is possible and what is not.
Yes. And even like concrete steps to try and then we check back and see what the result was, and then we go further.
Yeah, you're bringing them step by step in. Yeah, you're not like, okay, everyone, 2-hour deep breath or now I like
Fabian is doing.
Exactly. Breathe. So you're step by step exploring, getting the feedback of the group. You yourself are modeling the process. You yourself are breathing. You yourself are calming. You yourself are revealing. You yourself are creating these spaces where others could do the same. And that's what I hear you do so far.
Yeah.
So you're embodying the leadership you would like to see, which is excellent leadership. How does that feel when you hear me say that?
I'm touched. Sometimes I don't have my self-image is not catching up with what I'm actually doing or projecting, so it feels good.
Often why we need each other. to like see ourselves better.
Mm.
And then when we get these feedback processes of like, I can see you, and then I reveal to you what I see. And then I can give you plus feedback, which is this is what is going very well. And then where I see something that can be done better, I'll give you that feedback as well. But right now, like the reaffirming, because sometimes we need, like, courage is also built step by step. It's like, okay, this is working. Okay, that is working. Okay, this is also going. Here I got a little pushback. Okay, like, how do I navigate this? And then we can step more and more and more into the spaces and the leadership that we desire.
Yeah.
And we have pretty much a plan here already for the layers. This was obviously like a beginning process. So you're going to have this document where you can see exactly what we got from this session and what you would be wanting to work with. And it's your own process, which I hope we already sank a little deeper into. So we need to know when worry, doubt, and fear is useful and when not.
Yeah.
And then building the courage to move forward and be the example. And then right now you're in the early process, you're in the planning phase, you're getting to know each other, you're gonna like install the pieces that are foundational layers for more to arise. And that's then everyone feels, and then you check how was it for the team? How was this breathing exercise? Do you think it is useful or not? And if you can get their confirmation over and over and navigate the process through that.
Yes.
There's no self-imposed process.
Yeah, exactly. Don't run ahead and just be the leader, but nobody's coming.
Bingo. And you know our philosophy. We're like all for the marriage of leadership and facilitation because of that. Because there are a lot of great leaders, great visionaries, they lose their team on the way because they're too fast or don't know how to make the journey easy for them. So like the leader is already 15 steps ahead and it's like, where is everyone? Because they lost that person. It used to be me.
Yeah.
And then facilitation is like the facilitators, they might be really good at facilitating, but it's not going anywhere. So everyone's feeling nice and dandy, but after a while, it's like, we're not getting the results.
Yeah, or it's repetitive or something. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just about feeling cozy with each other. And there's no
goal, no project.
Yeah. And also no conflict.
No conflict.
Yeah. Because
that's an interesting one.
Because conflict is also really important. Like there must be a ground, not for arguments, but for conflict.
Yeah.
Because my opinion and someone else's opinion, and then where these conflicts arise is where energy is actually harbored. Because then we can sharpen.
Yeah, I mean, in anger, there's a lot of energy.
Yeah, there's a lot, exactly. And why is the anger there? And what is happening?
Yeah, is it anything to do with your father or really the problem you want to solve?
And then we're right back at self-mastery again, right? And the whole process with the self. Yeah. So where do you feel at in this process at the moment?
Beautiful. I mean, we covered a lot, actually. I was thinking about coming in with the visibility thing, but this is way more than I thought we would do in 1 hour.
Yeah,
amazing.
Somewhere around 45 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, this actually is a sort of demonstration of what you're talking about. Like we're not bullshitting around.
We explore.
We do feelings, but it's not just feeling good about having the feelings, but
actionable steps. Process we see. Revealing the unseen, and then through that process we understand ourselves better.
That's the bonus.
Yes, and each other. And then we can go deeper into the process. I'm very, very excited to continue supporting you through the whole journey.
Me too.
We have a whole year together, which is amazing. And in that year, whole of Seol is going to go sure to support you in the best way possible, and your team through that. And equip you with anything that you need, anything from the emotional support, reminding you of who you are and what you're capable of, and then giving you any form of guidance. And I'm very excited about learning from you as well all the time, which is the whole
I can see that.
Yeah. I'm super excited about that topic.
Yeah, I think it will be a good coupling.
Yes, I'm looking forward. And also not only in your expertise in AI, but as a human being, as a man, as a leader who has a lot of experience. I see it already in our team, how you're influencing people and bringing your pieces. Those are all important parts for other people's growth around.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, actually.
So thank you for being here with us and supporting and bringing everything that you do.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yes.
Awesome. And we round up for today.
Love you, man.
Awesome.
Good. Bueno. Yes. Awesome. Over, Mike. 1 hour for